away from sunny Southern California. 32 million homes speak for themselves. America Trends, it's about what you're talking about on social media. Let's get right back to it. From time to time, we like to take a look at the trends evolving in health and wellness and be right smack in the middle, being as it is right smack in the middle of summer. Everyone is looking for better ways to take care of their bodies. Our next guest is somebody who knows firsthand the importance of living a healthy lifestyle. You know him as the Diamond Guy, the author of The Buffer Zone Diet. Fred Cuellar is here with us. Fred, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it. And Fred, you've been immersed in the research of healthy living and functional diets for years now. But you made your name the Diamond Guy with your designs for NFL Super Bowl rings. So how did you start becoming so interested in finding which diets work and which ones don't?
Well, for good or bad, before I was 21 years old, I was a millionaire in the diamond business. And I didn't really take care of myself. I'm a Catholic, and I thought to myself, geez, I'll be the first billionaire in the diamond business. But by the time I was 35 years old, I was overweight, and I had a stroke. And I found myself at St. Luke's Hospital fighting for my life.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, there's a story for sure. That would be a motivator for sure. But I guess, you know, we hear a lot about diet. I mean, literally, you can read that wine is good for you. You can read that wine is bad for you. You can read that red meat is good for you. You can read that red meat is bad for you. You can read the fish is good for you. You can read the fish is bad for you because of mercury. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. What are the biggest myths that if you had your way and you could thought change everyone in the United States to get healthier, what are the biggest myths that we tend to buy into?
Well, it's nuts. You know, our body literally has two fuel tanks on it, and it's designed to have a certain fuel tank, your liver and your muscles, to operate you during the day, and then the secondary fuel tank to run you when you're at rest and at sleep. But people are being told to eat all these little tiny snacks, all these little tiny meals all day long, and it's this frequency. It's constantly grazing that's killing people.
Well, now that is really interesting because we do hear a lot about small, intermittent meals. But then again, I'm hearing a lot about the fasting technique these days, too. So what's your theory as to small changes that we can make to just get healthier without going on some massive starvation diet or something?
The biggest step that I figured out was that if the digestive tract was empty and the body was in sleep mode, the body transferred over and started burning fat fuel. So the biggest tip I could give somebody is that when the fork goes down, when the sun goes down. So give your body 3, 4, 5 hours before you go to bed to have no food in it. I found out that at the 10-hour mark, your body switched over to fat fuel. So if you stopped eating tonight, let's say at 6 o'clock tonight, and then broke your fast, let's say tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., that's 15 hours, 10 hours for your body to access fat fuel. That would give you 5 hours of fat fuel burning every single night, which is about 437.5 calories of body fat every single night. That means every 8 days, you lose 1 pure pound of body fat.
You know, I have to tell you, I've experimented with this myself, and as somebody who works at night on television, I get home late at night, and my family loves to grill. We live on the ocean. We sit out by the sea there. We have our big barbecue grill, and the family sits around the table. And it's the hardest thing in the world for me not to eat at night. But I have found that when I do not eat at night, when I get home, I definitely am down a couple pounds in the morning from what I am if I eat. And it really doesn't seem to even matter so much what I eat. But the alternative to that might be at least eating light at night, you know, maybe a white fish or you know, what kinds of foods, if you do have to eat late like I do, because that's my family time. That's it for me. That's my time with them. So what do you suggest for people like me?
What I would say is exactly what you just said. This idea that in a perfect world, you'd have your biggest meal a day for lunch. In a not perfect world, okay, maybe it's later in the day, but if you're going to have that late meal, let's say after 6, do low glycemic foods. Front load the meal of that. Try to make it no more than 20 to 25% of your caloric daily intake. Because if you have more than 50% of your caloric intake, when the sun goes down, it's going to give you 10 hours of fuel. And what ends up happening is you'll sleep pretty good at 10, 11 o'clock at night, but then around 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to wake up because your body's going, they gave me fuel, where are we going? And you got no place to go usually at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. And you know, another problem we have, we get home from work, and I'm so guilty of this, and especially after a week like this one, I'm not kidding you, I cannot wait for that glass of wine. I mean, I'm practically salivating for it. But alcohol, we know it has calories. If we're going to partake, going to imbibe, what is the best alcohol? Because I've heard red wine, but I've also heard vodka and the more clear alcohols. Do you have an opinion on that?
At the end of the day, it's pure sugar, okay? And obviously, some of the tannins that are in red wine can be better for you. But if you're just going to be drinking wine all by itself, without a buffer, without putting something else in your system, like maybe a small salad that can break up some of that, your insulin level is going to spike. So the person who says to me, Fred, I have to have a cognac or a wine or Bloody Mary before I go to bed, it's going to interrupt your diet, and you're going to wake up every single morning and you're going to be bloated. So choose your battles. The buffer zone means that there's a time when it's not advisable to eat. So if your body will remember what you do most of the time. So if every now and then you say, hey, I'm going out with my friends and I'm going to have a late night meal, no problem. But if you do it every single night, if you literally eat anytime you want, well, there's going to be a problem.
What do you think about fasting and metabolism?
Well, fasting is the idea that fasting is a buffer zone. Now, these long fasts, I won't eat anything healthy for a day, or alternating 5-2. And the problem is, while you're awake, if your body is fasting, then your brain moves slower, the ability to make decisions, understanding, memorization, the ability to focus. You want to do fasting. I like the idea of that, but you want to be doing it while you sleep. If you decide, no, I'm going to have my big meal at night and I'm going to fast basically during the day, well, no. Fuel your body to go, work and play, and buffer your body, no fuel, to rest and sleep.
And what do you say to those people who they manage to stick to this for a while, but then they go on vacation, or sometimes for me it's just a mental vacation that I go on and I'm like, all of a sudden, all that effort I put into maybe dropping that 10 pounds, I just will gain it right back. What do you say to those people?
One of the things people got to remember is that, because I'll go on a vacation or go on a trip and I'll come back and I'll get on the scale and I'll go, wow, look at all this weight. It's really not. A lot of times when we're on our trips, we'll eat a little bit more carbs and get the glycogen, which is a fuel that's in your liver and your muscles, is 3 out of every 4 parts water. 9 times out of 10, after you've been on a trip and you come back and the scale says you're 5, 6, 7 pounds heavier, you're actually not. Most of that is water weight. Just go back to your regular routine, and within a week, the water will wash out.
That's great advice, actually, and I like I said, I think I've tested pretty much every theory you've talked about, and so far everything you've said is pretty much true. Except I definitely think that drinking beer or other high-calorie alcohols is just the detriment of so many people. At least, and I'm a beer girl. I'm from the Ozarks. I like beer, so I'm not knocking it. It's my favorite, actually. It's probably my biggest weakness, but I try to force myself to just have a martini or something instead. Fred, we appreciate so much your being with us and giving us your wisdom on this, and tell folks where they can find your book.
Oh, it's everywhere. It's an international bestseller in over 40 countries. You can go to any bookstore, Amazon.
Any bookstore. Awesome. Thanks for being with us. Back in a moment.